For the sake of our family's health and for our kids' future, we have a moral obligation to act on climate. When we do, we'll turn risks of climate into business opportunity. We'll spur innovation and investment, and we'll build a world-leading clean energy economy.
Now, we had negative growth in the first quarter here. Growth is a problem. Joblessness is a problem. These people are trying to create a depression in my state, and it's not going to have any impact on global carbon emissions.
Well, the EPA with some new regulations trying to reduce carbon emissions by 30% by 2030. What about that in the economy? We're going to talk about the economy overall, too. Joining me are three of my colleagues from the Fox Business Network. Melissa Francis, host of Money with Melissa Francis, Stuart Varney, anchor of Varney & Company, and Maria Bartiromo, anchor of Opening Bell and Sunday Morning Futures and Global Markets editor. Thank you all for being here.
Good to see you.
I should just thank you for having me. Maria, what do you think? EPA and these regulations?
Well, I think this represents more pressure on corporations and certainly on individuals as well. The Chamber of Commerce is out with a report on these new regulations and basically says that this will mean 225,000 fewer jobs over the next several years until 2030. It will cut GDP by more than $50 billion a year for the next several years. So this is one of those additional pressures on business that, frankly, I don't know that you really want in an economy that is bumping along the bottom.
Is it clear the economy will hurt from this?
Yes, it is. 19 states get more than half of their electricity from coal. People in those states are going to be paying more for their electricity. Manufacturing is going to be paying more for the juice which they use. It does damage America's economic interests. I think the president is prepared to abandon those states and abandon Democrats because he wants approval at the United Nations, which is going to be discussing a climate treaty next year.
Melissa?
You know, even the EPA itself says that it's going to cost utilities $8 billion a year. Who do you think pays for that? It's not the utilities. It's the people at home watching the program. That's who ends up paying the higher bills. And I look at the economy and where we are, the big contraction we saw in the first quarter, we're heading in the wrong direction. Now isn't the time for something like this.
Maria, red flags, your state of the economy thoughts?
Well, the state of the economy is seen through the numbers. The GDP was down 1% in the last quarter. Employment should be a lot stronger than where we are right now. Unfortunately, companies are sitting on an enormous amount of cash. And for the corporate sector is actually doing quite well. They've got $2+ trillion in cash on the balance sheet, but they're using that money to buy back stock and to pay dividends rather than putting it toward hiring and putting it toward capital expenditures. So the truth is companies continue to have all of these unknowns, whether it's new fees from the EPA, whether it's we don't know what our tax rate will be because healthcare, all of these things are really creating pressures and making them reluctant to hire.
It's the new normal. And it's not a good new normal. Low growth, high unemployment, massive debt. That's not good. It's a policy error. We could reverse it by changing policies. We could set loose the engine of growth, private enterprise, but so far we are not.
Melissa.
The economy is supposed to grow at 3 or 4% this year. With that contraction in the first quarter, we would have to blow the doors off it to get there by the end of the year. Already we're seeing in the second quarter, wage growth has slowed. We are like a really bad ball club that gets out into the field on the first day on opening day and shakes its fist and says, wait until next year. We keep waiting for things to turn around.
But is there anything positive going on? I mean, when you talk to people around the country, is there
innovation? Look at Steve Jobs' legacy that he has left behind. Look at Elon Musk. He's out there every day trying to do something new, trying to inspire people. I think the feeling of innovation is still there if the government would get out of the way of especially technology.
American technology rules the roost, still making headway. The problem is that American technology concentrates wealth, doesn't create a whole lot of jobs. Look at WhatsApp, okay, a messaging service worth $19 billion, has only 55 employees. That's the concentration of wealth without mass job creation. That is a problem. It's a bright spot. America leads, but not so great in terms of the overall economy.
You can't turn back the tide on that. That's how innovation has always been. You look at robotics and automation, and what it means is that we have to create a society that learns about math and science, that figures out how to thrive in this environment rather than holding on to manufacturing jobs that have gone away, rather than fighting for a higher minimum wage. We have to look for future employment that pays better.
So where are the jobs? The jobs are in healthcare. The jobs, because we are living longer and because the cost of genomics has come down. So because of that, we're seeing job creation there. We're seeing job creation in technology and the marriage of healthcare and technology because of this innovation. But broadly speaking, the best part of this economy is the corporate sector and all of that cash on the balance sheet. Beyond that,
I could talk with you guys for hours. I really could.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sounds great.
Maybe I'll
Let's
just
do it.
stay.
Yeah.
Maria, Stu, Melissa, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's it for the panel, but stay tuned for a strange swing and a miss.